Your Nintendo Switch is a great little guy. It plays incredible games, one of the best lineups ever created. The OLED has a really nice, bright, vibrant screen. The Joy-Con can become multiplayer controllers, but let's face it, it doesn't have too many modern day tricks. After today's news, you're going to see that the Nintendo Switch 2 is jam-packed with modern day tricks. It's going to be providing a freaking insane level of visual prowess for a handheld and has more going on than even this ROG Ally. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce, excited to be here and talking about 3 things added to Nintendo Switch 2, and the third kind of just seals the deal and puts it even ahead of what the ROG Ally can do and ahead of what the Steam Deck can do, which I think is very sweet. And if you're ever nervous about like, oh, how powerful is the Switch 2 going to be? How good will it actually look? Will it be a big enough difference? This video right here will show you and should be your proof in the pudding that, hey, it's going to be night and freaking day. Got to give a shout out to Dr. 81, my partner, but not partner in crime. I'm always doing research on Switch 2 stuff. He's always doing research on Switch 2 stuff. One of the things that he likes to look at is job postings. It's very incredible. I'm going to put a link to his video in the description down below because I do want to give him credit. Nintendo is looking for a senior engineer display technology and development. And don't poo-poo this, okay? This one is about as cut and dry as it gets. They're looking for somebody who can work with display technology and development. And let's go through the description of their duties real quick here, all right? Architect, design, and implement display driver stack for use with current and future products. Develop, refine existing and future display software stack to ensure compliance with various display standards and specifications. Now, this very clearly is showing Nintendo taking their Switchy and connecting it to TVs and working on making sure the display is all nice across the board, right? The one thing that would really indicate is HDR. Because if we break down the 3 main graphical features being touted for Switch right now, DLSS is that algorithmic-based software enhancement where, ooh, you can play games and they look better than they should because DLSS is making it happen. Ray tracing is a phenomenal lighting technology that allows you to see really nice beams of light and reflections and things of that sort. And HDR is the contrast and the color gamut that your display can run. And so HDR allows you to have a high dynamic range. And it's something that varies and differs based on different brands of TVs, different displays. And so that is really what they're talking about there. But if you want even further proof, they say enhance overall picture quality through image processing and tone mapping techniques. Now, this is newly part of this senior engineer job and was not part of a recent display technology job listing because tone mapping has to do with HDR. And this basically signs the check that Nintendo Switch 2 is going to have HDR. And we've already heard heavy rumors about DLSS 3 or 3.5 as well as ray tracing. And the ROG Ally, if you want to know, is really fantastic. Awesome system. This thing is $700, and this thing doesn't even have HDR. It does have ray tracing, it does have DLSS, and it does have a pretty good interior. It also can basically function as a portable PC. I'm not saying the Switch is going to be exactly like or a better version of the ROG Ally, but from a visual display standpoint, it sure does seem like the Switch 2 is going to be setting a really high bar for a portable display and portable visuals. We get ray tracing, DLSS, and we get HDR. You're going to have really nice lighting, really nice contrast, and pretty great resolution and frame rate, allowing for fantastic performance, fantastic colors, fantastic blacks, fantastic contrast, and a fantastic display, no matter what they go with, whether it's an OLED screen, an LCD screen. I know people have hemmed and hawed over that and felt nervous about it, but boom. Now you know that Nintendo is really investing to make this an incredible experience. And maybe they're taking shortcuts, maybe they're going about it with less power than you'd like, but again, what did I say this cost? $700. The Switch 2 is going to be about half that. $400 seems to be the price point that everybody believes it will be. And that's even pricey for a Nintendo system. But it goes to show you how much they're actually putting into this system and how effective and efficient it will be for you to buy one as kind of like the best way to portably play games at the best price. We can argue about the Steam Deck because that has come down in price as of late. There was a recent discount, which kind of surprised me. Nintendo doesn't really do discounts for their Switches. But again, you're getting Nintendo's first-party patented library that you can't get anywhere else. And it just does a little bit more, right? The Switch can go in the dock. The Switch can become a multiplayer console. The Switch can do a lot of different things that, are true to a console versus a portable PC. But this is super exciting, and I think these job listings are a very interesting way to suss out what Nintendo is working on, what Nintendo is actualizing. Some people were hypothesizing, could this be for 4K and not HDR? But 4K TVs has been around for a long time. 4K gaming has been around for a long time. We would believe that Nintendo has long tested their consoles and their displays and their everything, with the 4K standard, and they've got that figured out. I don't think they'd be hiring for a new person to develop, refine existing and future display software to ensure compliance with various display standards and specifications. The other thing you might be wondering is existing and future. Now, we talk about Switch 2, and that's the focus whenever we're bringing up these exciting new features. Is there some chance that they do bring something nice to Switch 1? We have had this whole rumor, remember, about the dock. And there were going to be dock firmware, and maybe the dock could be upgraded, and maybe Nintendo would just change over the dock. Now, that didn't really pan out in the way that people kind of predicted or maybe talked about, but there was some sort of slight dock firmware, and we do know that the dock can receive those sort of updates. Is there a chance that Nintendo could be looking to enhance current Switches as well as future Switches? I think there's a very small chance. I think if Nintendo is going to invest heavily on making sure the next Switch is a leaps and bounds jump from the Switch 1, they will make sure that happens. They will not go backwards and also enhance the Switch. I don't think they need to go back and do any high fives or give any favors. We've got 7 years out of the Switch, thousands of games, and plenty of great gaming hours. The Switch is sold insanely well on a hardware and even more so on a software front. There's no real need or reason for Nintendo to go and try and spice up the OG Switch. If anything, that just shrinks the difference between Switch 1 and Switch 2. So I think this is kind of just their speak, right? They're saying, oh, current and future. That way they're not confirming you're working on a future console. That way they're not confirming oh my gosh, the Switch 2 is right there. You're going to come work on this brand new generation of Nintendo Switch. They can't say that. Nothing's been announced. They won't leak that in a job listing. But most importantly, from all of this, your takeaway should be that 3 of the absolute best, coolest new ways to enhance visuals are being placed into the Switch 2 based on the current rumors and based on the leaks we've seen. HDR, ray tracing, and DLSS is a formidable trio. It's a triforce of visual panache that will absolutely perch Nintendo Switch 2 up as the best portable ever made. There's no question in my mind that Switch 2 is going to bring about an even brighter future and an even better generation for Nintendo than what the Switch was able to provide. And seeing Mario in 4K, experiencing Zelda with ray tracing, playing Mario Kart with HDR and DLSS, it is going to be wild. We have been waiting a long time to make the leap into modern visuals for Nintendo. Because it's not just about, oh, the Switch can't do that. The Switch is a hybrid, portable. It's like Nintendo as a whole, we've never seen it that way. We've seen Assassin's Creed, and we've seen God of War, and we've seen Spider-Man, and we've seen Horizon, and we've seen Call of Duty. We've seen all of these games in 4K and with great new technological advancements, specifically in the visual department. We've never seen that with Nintendo games, and so this will be a world's first. No matter what, it's freaking cool. But knowing that they are trying to implement 3 of the best graphical technologies and ways to improve the way your game looks and the player experiences it is fantastic. I already thought the OLED screen was such an upgrade from the original Switch. Going to the Switch 2 should be another leap even larger. And having all 3 of these, more than even the ROG Ally can say, more than the Steam Deck, pretty freaking sweet. Let me know what you think about getting HDR on the Switch 2, if that would help really assuage and calm any nerves you have about this system not being great enough. Remember, nothing is confirmed at this point, but we can infer quite a lot based on what we heard from VGC and Eurogamer coming out of Gamescom and developers, based on job listings, and based on the direction Nintendo is heading with what they're saying in their own company speech. So let me know your take in the comments down below, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, SwitchForce out.